Medfit Rehab founder Joanne James is a medical exercise specialist. Medfit Rehab, restoring strength and movement, making a difference in people's lives. 647-259-5481. Columbus Center, Athletic Department, Dufferin and Lawrence, medfitrehab.com. Is staying healthy becoming too expensive with personal trainers, gym memberships, massages, and supplements? Then Joanne James, medical exercise specialist, and her dedicated team have exciting news for you. Imagine a healthcare plan that saves you money on personal and group training and gives you premium access to medical professionals. That's what Medfit Rehab can offer you. In the Columbus Center, Dufferin and Lawrence, call today to learn more. 647-259-5481, medfitrehab.com. Hi, Joanne. How are you this morning? Have you had a good weekend?
I had a fantastic weekend. You know, the weather was superb. I hope you had a great one.
Well, you know, when the weather is nice, it just seems to make everybody feel a whole lot better.
You got it.
And that's what happened, except for the rain, but that was not a big deal.
Well, it didn't rain all over the city. It just rained in certain parts of the city.
Yeah, I know, but it rained pretty hard at night. And that once people are safe in the house, hopefully that'll be good for the grass and all the other things. Okay, so this topic, are you skinny? Are you fat? Are you on one extreme or the other? What are we saying here?
Well, what we're talking about is being skinny, but being obese. And a lot of people don't realize that just because a person looks good on the outside, they could be horribly obese internally. They could be horribly out of shape, deconditioned. And I say that because I and a lot of people make the assumption that when we see somebody that looks really slender, that, you know what, they're in great shape. In fact, I've heard and I've had, skinny people complain to me that people always say to them, "Oh, you look good. Why do you have to exercise? I mean, why are you exercising? You're in shape, aren't you?" And that usually riles them up because they know that they're not in shape.
It should. But not only that, you continue to stay in shape. Once you're in shape, you don't just let it go and leave it. You've got to work on it.
Right. But the skinny person is no different than the person who's of average size and weight. They have to work on it too. But most times, if they're not working on it, they don't feel good about their bodies because they know that they're not in shape, even though they look it. So 1 in 4 skinny person or skinny people are predisposed to diabetes, and they're considered metabolically obese, meaning that if you look around their organs, they have a lot of fat, and that fat is actually not a good fat to have around the organs. And then they have a lot of subcutaneous fat that's underneath the skin. So when they pinch themselves, they pinch quite a bit of fat. So it's not a good sign. So whenever you look at somebody and they look skinny or whatever, it doesn't mean they're in shape and it doesn't mean they're healthy. In fact, they're more likely to be pre-diabetic or diabetic to some degree. So
I think that when you see someone who seems in very good shape and has a heart attack and dies young, and we've seen many people are puzzled. They can't understand. Mm-hmm. Look at him. Look at her. Yeah. So you're saying that the inside is fat and the outside is slim. That's a new way of looking at it.
Yeah, and it's been like that forever. So, yes, a skinny person can have a heart attack because you have to ask the question, well, if somebody tells me somebody died and keeled over, my thing is, well, were they healthy? Did they exercise? Were they eating correctly? Yeah, but they were skinny. Doesn't mean anything. So it means that you're skinny, you still have to exercise because you can still be obese. You can be over fat. You could have a 29 to 30% body fat, even though you have either a normal weight or seem to be underweight. You can still be fat. And I think that's really the message for everybody.
So how do you find out? How do you know when that happens?
Well, one of the things you do is you can have a body fat assessment. Well, first of all, if you don't exercise at all and you don't eat a healthy diet, then pretty much that's a guarantee. You are obese, but a skinny obese, or you have that metabolic obesity syndrome. The other way you can do that is by getting an assessment, and usually the body fat assessment is what's going to give you a pretty good idea of what your body fat percentage is. Hopefully you have a good body fat assessment, and because not all assessments are equal. And then from there you can determine, or the person who's assessing you can let you know what your body fat assessment is, or body fat assessment percentage is. And that's something that we do at Medfit, is we kind of help people determine where they're at. And we certainly respect the person that walks in that's skinny, and we don't make the assumption that, they're skinny, so we don't need to really work with them all that hard. We tell them the truth of where they're at, and then we provide them with the programs and the services that help them get back into or get to a better state of fitness so that they feel better about themselves. Because they feel like imposters when people actually say, oh, you're in great shape and you don't need to do any exercise, you're skinny. They don't feel good about that, believe it or not. So
and I'm sure they don't feel well as well. So that makes a difference. Well, okay, so the important thing is to find out the shape that you are in and what to do about it. And Joanne James and her team can help you find a way to a healthier life. Thank you so much, Joanne. We'll talk again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Joanne James, founder and medical exercise specialist of Medfit Rehab, will improve your overall health through medical exercise. Contact Joanne James, 647-259-5481, Columbus Center Athletic Department, Dufferin and Lawrence, medfitrehab.com.